Okay, right? So when you're rounding to the thousandth now, you're looking at the third decimal place. So let's see, rounding 1.425, 5 will be your reference point. You're going to look to the value to the right, right? You're going to see if that value now meets the requirement of either 5 or above, and that will be rounding up, right? Or if it's below 5, which is 4 or 1, 4 to 1, that'll be now rounding down. Okay, so the step that we'll realize is that 2 is less than 5. So therefore, the step is that we're gonna drop 2, delete it, and say that the more precise value for 1.4252 will now be 1.425, right? You don't need to add a 0 for 2 because 2 is the last value in its place, right? You understand, everyone? So let's do our final summary, because this is a part of the video that I'm recording. Let's do a final summary so you can watch this video now to prepare for your the task that you're doing. So we learned what were whole numbers, right? Whole numbers are essentially components that have values that are incrementing from the point of 0, either to the right or the left, so negative or positive, right? We understand that decimal numbers comprises of whole numbers in the fact that you have a whole value separated by a decimal point, then a fractional point. And we learn that the fractional points now are starting from tenths, not ones, because tenths now are the first decimal place after the decimal point, right? You couldn't have ones. It's not grammatically correct. Tenths are the first decimal place. Then you have hundredths and thousandths. We declare that we're only going to learn from 3 decimal places because those are the requirements of your exam, and it wouldn't be much effort to learn beyond that, right? We understood why we need decimal places in the first place, because decimal places are more precise in that they can give you more accurate description of what a whole number could provide. For example, when you're calculating your weight, right? 300.9 is more precise than 300, right? Even though I'm not weighing 300, as an example, as I said, but that number is still having some issues, because if you wanted to write down an even larger number that has decimal places that are in the thousands, right, it's inaccurate to the point where you can't really use that as a full value. So what you do now, you use something called rounding it. You round the decimals now for a condition, whether the value, the reference point, and the value to the right. If that value to the right of the reference point, in the case of 0 in 309, right? So the value to the left of the last place value, which is 9, would be 0. And we're looking to the right of 9 to see if 9 is above 5. If it's above, 0 will be affected by it's adding 1 to it. So it now be 310. We drop the value 9 now and replace it with a 0, right? That's called rounding up. But in the other case where we have a value that's less than 5, 0 still being our placeholder, our reference point, 4 is less than 5, so therefore we move now to a value that's 300. So you see the difference? The fact is we translate now a decimal value to a whole number system using rounding decimals, okay? And now we understood that, we applied that knowledge to round specifically into whole numbers. We rounded whole numbers 23 and 23 turned 20. We rounded decimal numbers. So we rounded to the first decimal place, and 5.73 turned to be 5.7 because 3 is less than 0. I mean, 3 is less than 5. So the 3 gets dropped and it'll be 0 because 5.70 is redundant. You can just say 5.7, right? Then we learned how to round to the hundredths place, right? And also the tenths place, okay? While also you being assigned a task for you to attempt your own individual rounding of numbers, okay? Now I want you guys to watch this summary video, understand the topics. Any questions, you can send that message to me, and have a great day, everyone. All right, take care.